Welcome back to today's build. I'll be your guide to this wonderful game we all love. Let's get started. Today's deck is an oldie but a goodie. His name is Kalamax the Stormsire, and this is the Deny-No-Saur. Kalamax is a 4/4 elemental dinosaur that lets us copy our first instant each turn if he's tapped, and gets bigger each time we copy an instant. The thing about counterspells and single target removal though is that mathematically these spells are bad. In 1v1 60-card formats, these spells let you trade 1v1 with your opponent, but in multiplayer, you can't really do that. You can go 1-for-1 with one opponent, but that leaves the other two up on resources compared to you, and that's not good. Luckily though, Kalamax helps make up for that resource imbalance by copying our instants, making them harder to counter when they advance our board and have greater impact on the board when doubled. What I like best about him though is that he really wants to go infinite. He copies instants and wants us to copy instants, and most of the spells that copy instants are instants, which Kalamax eats for dino dinner. So we'll be packing a suite of copy spells in our deck, and since our commander generates more value the longer he's out, we want to play him as early as possible. Murmuring Mystic, Talrand, and Rashmi all suffer from the same clumsy timing issues. The earliest turn we can play them is the same turn we could play Kalamax, leaving us to choose between playing these guys or playing Kalamax, and playing them after Kalamax is a turn that we're not copying our instants and sorceries. Not to mention that they don't really do anything this deck is too keen on. They don't capitalize on how big Kalamax gets or find us more instants, and we don't really care about these tokens at all. If we're lucky enough to find a spell we can cast with Rashmi, Kalamax won't copy it because he only sees the first instant we cast each turn. These are out. For the same reasons, Young Pyromancer and Gutter Snipe should be cut. We're trying to push our commander out on turn 3, which means they'd come down on turn 4 or later and don't do anything that we really care about. Seedborn Muse is in way too many decks, and is actively bad for us. Yes, our land's untapped, but so does Kalamax. If you really want this kind of effect, you should play Wilderness Reclamation instead. Opt doesn't do nearly enough for us. 1 mana to scry 1, draw 1 twice with Kalamax still isn't what I want to be doing. Comet Storm and Starstorm each cost way too much mana to be effective removal spells, even with the copy from Kalamax. Instead, we'll play Breath Weapon, Fiery Cannonade, and Flame Sweep. Reliquary Tower and Kessig Wolf Run actively impede our ability to fix our mana for our commander by turn 3. Having a sculpted 7 cards in hand is not the end of the world. It's not such a bad thing to discard the hand size, especially when we're playing spells that are likely to have flashback. Play fewer Reliquary Towers. Brainstorm is okay and all, but these copies resolve one at a time, so the advantage we get from copying it is very minimal, and we just have better things to do with our mana. On turn 1, we can play Wild Growth, Gilded Goose, or Soul Guide Lantern as preliminary graveyard hate. On turn 2, we can cast any number of a suite of Signets or Talismans, as well as Goblin and Archomancer, Farseek, or Fertile Ground to help push our commander out on turn 3. On turn 3, we're playing Kalamax, so make sure you took an opening hand with ramp and fixing to make that happen. Turn 4, we'll attack, and Kalamax will be online. It won't be long before he's a target though, so this turn we'll focus on holding up mana to protect him and grow our dinosaur. Cards like You Find the Villain's Lair, Teamer Charm, and Izzet Charm can protect Kalamax or help us dig through our deck if nobody tries anything. Also keep an eye out for Supreme Will, Decisive Denial, and other modal counterspells. With our commander safely on board on turn 5, we'll blaze through the deck with cards like Big Score, Unexpected Windfall, and Joint Exploration to draw us cards and put more mana in play. We'll also try to chain these into cards like Discover the Impossible, Factor Fiction, and Harrow to outpace our opponent's resources. Then, when we're ready to deliver the killing blow, we'll clear the board with sweepers mentioned earlier, as well as Ancient Animus and Teamer Charm, and make Kalamax lethally large with our copy effects Reverberate, Reiterate, Insidious Will, Refuse to Cooperate, Expansion, and more. From there, we just have to go around the table and pop our opponent's life totals. This deck is ferocious and formidable. It's difficult to gain traction against, and makes quick work of attempts to fight back. That being said, this deck is about as optimal as it gets without being able to reliably win before turn 6, though it is very close. This is a very high 8. If you like this video, leave a like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching!